And happy Thursday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring our videos. So today should be quiet, as that system that's been causing the severe weather the last few days is basically off to sea almost completely now. And as we get into the next few days, it looks like it's going to be pretty quiet in terms of severe weather, at least across the country. And then as we get into the beginning of next week, we could potentially see some more severe weather. There's a system that's out in the Pacific right now, and it is expected to move on into the U.S. as we get into this weekend. So we'll break down some more details about this next system that we will be keeping a very close eye on. So here are our reports from yesterday. We did have a good amount of activity here in southeastern Georgia, and then a few other reports here in the panhandle of Florida, and then a few scattered reports here in central Texas. So not too crazy of a day. And again, as we get into the next few days, it should be pretty quiet. But taking a look at our current conditions, here's that system that we've been keeping an eye on the last few days. It is now moving off the coast, just bringing us some moderate rain here from basically Maine all the way down to parts of the Carolinas. We're going to zoom on in here to Florida, where that cold front is starting to make its way off the coast. Just a few showers here in basically just north of Miami, and this should clear out within the next few hours. And then out in the Pacific, here is our next storm system that we will be keeping an eye on very closely as we get into the beginning of next week, bringing some rain from Seattle to Portland all the way down to California. And then we have some snow here in the parts of the Northwest as well. So zooming on out, taking a look at our temperatures. Miami, you're of course the warm spot. You're at 85 degrees. That cold front is just to your northwest. And then with that rain switching, or going all the way up to the coast, temperatures are in the upper 40s to low 50s with that. And then some warmer temperatures in the middle of the country. We're starting to finally warm back up here after a chilly few days here in the south. It's 58 currently in Oklahoma City, 64 down in Dallas, and nearing 70 down in Houston. And of course, it's still cold behind that storm system that we've been dealing with for the last few days. And then in terms of moisture, we're still very dry out there, but a little bit better in terms of moisture. We have a 40-degree dew point in Wichita, and I mean, yeah, it's pretty dry across the board, but it's a little bit better compared to what we have been seeing the last few days. 68, though, for a dew point in Miami, so a bit sticky down there. So we're going to take a look at a few metro areas right now. Here in Oklahoma City, it's 58 degrees in OKC proper, 60 in Chandler, some more 50s and 60s across the area here. And then moving on down to Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, some more upper 50s to lower 60s there, 63 in Dallas, 61 in Fort Worth. And then moving on down to the Austin area, a bit warmer. Temperatures are getting up into the mid-60s there, where it's 66 in Austin, 70 down in San Antonio, and then more 60s and 70s here across the Houston area. Then lastly, getting into the Denver area, no surprise, it's a bit cooler. Temperatures are in the lower 50s, so 54 in Denver, 52 in Centennial, and getting still a bit chilly up there, upper 40s as you head north of the Denver proper area. So no surprise, no severe weather is expected today, as that main system has made its way off the coast, and the ones in the Pacific, and there's really nothing in between. So we should be quiet today. And then getting into tomorrow, same deal. We're not expecting anything in terms of severe weather. No severe hail, no severe wind. Should be a quiet next few days. And our weekend in terms of severe weather looks quiet as well. But as we get into the beginning of next week, things will be changing. So if you like the quiet weather, enjoy it, because as we get into next week, things will be changing. So this is our upper jet stream, so about 34,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And these colors indicate the winds, so basically the brighter colors here up on the scale equal higher winds. So here is that system that is moving off the shore, and here's our next one moving on in very slowly. It's going to take a few days to move on in, but once it does, it could potentially bring us some severe weather across the middle of the country. So there is Saturday, then getting into Sunday, making its way finally into the western part of the U.S. And then as we get into our Monday, it moves into the central U.S., so we will be watching parts of the central and southern plains pretty carefully as we get into Monday. And then as we get into Tuesday, it pushes off to the east, so we'll be watching parts of the Tennessee Valley, it looks like, for our Tuesday, and then it starts to move off as we get into Wednesday. Moving a little bit lower into the atmosphere, basically the colors here indicate our temperatures, so the oranges and the reds indicate warmer temperatures near the, well, this is at 700, so still above the surface, but it can give you at least an idea here. So again, here is our main system that is moving off the coast. Next system still off in the Pacific, but it makes its way on here into the U.S. finally as we get into Sunday. Warmer temperatures ahead of that next system. So we'll be warming up pretty nicely as we get into tomorrow and into our weekend. So, you know, enjoy those warmer temperatures, especially if you're in the middle of the country, getting into parts of the Tennessee, Kentucky, down south. And then as we get into Monday, it starts to push off to the east. Again, we'll be watching parts of the south here as we get into Monday. Colder temperatures indicated by those greens behind it as we get into the next, this is at Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central, so 6 p.m. Eastern. Colder air again behind this next low pressure. So yeah, enjoy the warmer weather while you can, because it's going to get colder as we get into next week. And again, we'll be watching basically Kentucky, Tennessee, and parts of the south here as we get into Tuesday for the severe weather. And then it really starts to deepen here and kind of stall out a bit here as we get into Wednesday. And it looks like temperatures are going to get a bit chilly here in the Northeast as we get into our Wednesday next week. So this is at the surface now. So temperatures will be warming up. Again, getting into the 60s and even near 70 today here in Oklahoma City. And then getting into tomorrow, warm air starting to continue to build ahead of that low pressure system, getting into tomorrow, into Saturday, and even into Sunday. Temperatures nearing 80 here in Oklahoma City, 80 in Dallas is expected, but you can see that cold air wrapping behind this next system. Here we go on Monday. You can see those temperatures start to drop a bit. So, you know, it's going to be nice and, you know, pleasant, warm, but then unfortunately, once this system pushes through on Monday into Tuesday, that warm air starts to disappear for a day or two. So again, enjoy that warm weather while you can, and we start to cool off as we get into Wednesday. In terms of our moisture, so not a whole lot right now. I mean, we don't have any major systems to deal with until that next one moves on through. So as we get into Friday, starting to get that moisture return back, and it just keeps on building as we get into our Saturday. Again, no severe weather is expected, you know, until we get to Monday. It's just going to keep on building up here with our moisture and the instability. And then once we get into Monday, you can see that difference between the moist air and the dry air. So there could be a bit of a dry line forming here in central Oklahoma, down into Texas, all the way up into Kansas. And yeah, we'll be watching this area very carefully as we get into Monday, and then as we get into Tuesday, that moisture pushes off to the east, and then we dry out for the most part, with the exception of the southeast as we get into our Wednesday. And then our instability, so we're basically going to jump ahead a few days, so hopefully no one gets ill. So we do have some instability here, but again, that system is off the coast, so we're not really anticipating anything in terms of severe weather. So jumping ahead a few days, sorry about all the moving ahead. This is at Sunday at 4:30 Central Time. That instability starting to build on up here, getting ready for that system to potentially give us some stuff on Monday. And then we're going to go to Monday and see those brighter colors starting to show up here from Kansas all the way down to Texas. And then that will start to move off to the east as we get into Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you can see it disappears here. So Monday and Tuesday next week look like the days that we will be keeping an eye on. And lastly, here is our future precipitation. Again, nothing in terms of severe weather. That eastern one is moving off the coast, just bringing us some rain, and then just some areas of snow and some wet precipitation across parts of the north. So unfortunately, if you're doing anything for your Easter plans for Saturday into Easter Sunday across the north, it could be a bit of a damper if you're doing anything outside. In the west, you can see that snow falling here. And then as we get into Monday, that system finally moves on in, taps into that heat and instability and all the moisture and all that fun stuff. And we will be watching again from Missouri all the way down to parts of Texas for our Monday. And then as we get into Tuesday, parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, maybe Mississippi as well. And then that moves off the coast, or at least near the coast, as we get into our Wednesday. So what areas are we watching for Monday and Tuesday? Again, this is pretty far out still. It's like 4 or 5 days out, so this will change. So this is not set in stone, but right now we are watching areas such as St. Louis, into parts of Illinois, all the way down to as far south as Dallas. So a pretty large area for our Monday, and then getting into Tuesday, the areas that we are watching as of right now. Again, things will change. We're so far out, you guys. Cincinnati, so parts of southern Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then parts of Alabama and Mississippi as well. So yeah, I know it's a mouthful. We should be quiet the next few days, but as we get into next week, this next system could be a doozy. It is that time of the year. So make sure that you follow us and so you don't miss anything. Follow us on Twitter, X, whatever the heck you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you hit see first on our Facebook page so you don't miss any of our videos. If you would like to learn more about our products, you can scan that QR code above and you can get set up with a demo. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday.